This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Life is full of challenges. Sometimes it can seem that limitations are stopping you from achieving your dreams. I know all about challenges and limitations. I was born with severe cerebral palsy. I spend most of the day in a wheelchair. I speak with a nearly incomprehensible impediment. These are my circumstances. They make achieving my goals more difficult. They do not make achieving my goals impossible. It may take creativity, but with the proper mindset, it is possible to make your dreams become your reality. I know. I wanted to live an amazing life full of many experiences. I found a way and I did it. I wanted to start a business. It was tough, but I found opportunities and I did it. I wanted to be a speaker and author. I am now the writer who cannot write and the speaker who cannot speak. I always wanted to be a family man. I have a family. I am making my dreams come true. Sounds pretty amazing, right? It is. But it didn't just happen. I messed up. I fell down. I got up. I learned. I achieved. That's how it goes. You learn lessons as you achieve. It's all about mindset. If you want your dreams to come true, you have to have the right mindset, says Sourena. Valeria Tellez interviews Sourena Visegi, the author of Big Dreams Take Small Sacrifices and Love Your Life and It Will Love You Back. Sourena Visegi is the speaker who can't speak and the writer who can't write, with one simple mission. He empowers people to take control of their lives so they can find the freedom and joy of living life on their own terms. Sourena teaches that by seizing the power of one's own mindset, it's possible to be successful and satisfied. Meet Sourena at sourenav.com. Here's the interview with Sourena Visegi.
In your own words, who is Sourena Visegi and Chris Stevenson?
I was born with
Sourena was born with cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I deal with it. You live life.
And he wanted to live an extraordinary life.
I deal with it to get in the way of amazing.
And he didn't want his handicap to get in the way of living an amazing life.
I'm doing amazing. It's finished. I'm doing finished.
He's very driven by experiences.
I'm kids working, running, hanging out with friends, all the excitement.
So he loves the experiences, and he was just mentioned that he loves the excitement of his children and writing and speaking and hanging out with friends and traveling.
Chris, who is Chris Stevenson?
So just really quickly, Chris Stevenson, and I've had the opportunity to work with Sourena for years now. I've worked in health and fitness for years, owning and operating clubs, and then from that point, opened up a consulting firm and speak internationally. It's been a really cool journey. But one day at the gym, Sourena worked out, and despite his handicap, he worked with a trainer, and his goal was to be able to pull himself out of a chair onto the ground and then back up into his chair. And with Sorena's speech impediment, as you can hear in the podcast, he came up to me and I had gotten to know Sourena and we had built a nice little relationship. And he said, "Hey, do you want to speak with me?" And I had this look like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a keynote speaker." And I said, "Tell me more." And Sourena explained to me, what he had done. And then I had read his books and had the opportunity to help him deliver his message and, to some extent translate, right? Because we always say that cerebral palsy, in Sorena's case, is just like having a thick accent. So I help translate and share his message with the world.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Chris, for being you too and for what you do. My second official question is about success. How do you define success these days? What is to be successful to you?
Every experience that I can.
You want to have as many experiences as you can?
Yeah.
So success means being able to have great experiences.
That means from my family, helping people, showing people, showing how can you please.
So Sourena is rewarded and defines success as helping, having great experiences with his family, with his friends, and helping other people achieve amazing success.
Yeah.
It's the interesting thing about experiences is that it starts with the mind, doesn't it? With our mindset, the way we think.
Yeah, what I remember is the way you go up to those you guys go up every day.
Yeah, Sourena said he couldn't agree more. And for him, mindset is the way you go after your goals.
The way you can,
the way you deal with challenges,
the way you other people,
the way you interact with other people,
and the way you go out every day.
And the way you go about your day.
So I have a holistic view of myself. I have a holistic view of myself.
He's got a whole course and
holistic view.
Oh, he has a holistic view of mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the holistic view. That makes so much sense to me, resonates, because there's nothing that's separated. So everything's working together as life itself. So it wouldn't be different with the body, right, Sourena, the human experience.
Mine is definitely changed a lot in my life.
His mindset has helped him with a lot of different things in his life.
My changed a lot in my life.
But from the start, his disability tainted a lot of things in his life.
My job is to work around those challenges.
His job is to work around those challenges.
Yeah, and to do whatever I want to do. And do whatever I want to do.
So he can do what he wants to do, do whatever he wants to do.
Yes.
I have to tell you that in working with Sourena, it's great because while sharing his message, and I have my own level of expertise, but I always learn from Sourena. And one of the things he told me about mindset is when you have a roadblock or something that's in your way or something that's stressing you out or getting you down, you can call it a problem. And those tend to be things that stop you and hold you back and create fear and anxiety. Or you can simply say, no, it's just a challenge. And challenges are fun things that we try to find solutions for. So his approach to mindset is such a strong one. And it really, as he said, if you have that sort of approach, it positively affects every aspect of your life.
I don't like to use the word hard.
You don't like to use the word
hard.
Hard?
You get when you use the word hard. It's just sometimes when you use the word hard,
so sometimes when you use the word hard, you stop trying.
But when you use the word challenge, it's something that you can deal with.
Yeah, but when you use the word challenge, it's something you can deal with.
Yeah.
It is so true because now we're more open. There's more space for curiosity. That really makes sense to me. I wonder, did you teach yourself, Sourena, to be you? Or you had some mentors, some other people?
It's a little combination, right?
Oh, it is.
I had a mentor.
He had lots of mentors.
My parents
His parents?
Did everything that they could to provide me a good life.
His parents did everything they could to provide him with a good life.
And the body, they never complained.
And they never complained.
Yeah, and they're just positive people. They're just positive people. Positive people.
They're just positive people.
And they're growing up. So I grew up in that environment.
So that was his narrative growing up, and he grew up in that environment.
We were not allowed to. My mom said, my mom didn't let me. My mom never let me. That's what I'm saying.
Your mom, his mom never let him feel like life isn't fair.
I was not allowed to say the words in front of her. I was not allowed to use the word in front of her.
He was not allowed to use the word different in front of her.
Yeah. And then when I grew up, I started mentors.
And as he grew up, he started to seek out more mentors.
A bigger network.
A bigger network.
I built a network.
And he built a network.
I built a team. A team. And we are reading books.
He said, he built a team, and he said, myself and him were always reading books.
Every time you go, what book are you doing now?
Every time
I see you, I think what are you doing now?
Oh yeah, every time we see each other, we're asking each other, what are you reading now?
Yeah, to exchange.
I have to say those, Sourena focused, you said, is it about you or is it about other people? And Sourena, and just the person that he is, always talks about the other people who have the great influences like his parents and some of his mentors. But Sourena, you should talk about your sort of a moment of truth where you decided that, and Sourena always talks about, he said, no one would ever be mad at him for being handicapped, and it would be perfectly acceptable to just be, average and live sort of that handicap life where it just is what it is. And Sourena was almost at that point until he had this moment where he decided, using his strong mindset to feel differently.
Whenever I made something. When I grew up, I would make something.
When he grew up,
I made something.
He met other children.
I made something.
Oh, when he grew up, he made an assumption. That nobody else could ever help him out like his mom and dad did.
And this was very narrative.
That was his first narrative.
Yeah. And I worked very much go off to USC.
And he watched a friend of his go off to USC for college.
And I could not go.
And he couldn't go.
And one day, going to see how it was.
So one day he called Sourena and he told him how great USC was.
And I got the one. I started to cry. I said, I'm going to USC.
So he got off the phone, hung it up, and just started to cry. And his dad asked him what was wrong, and he said, I'm going to USC.
I didn't. I'm thinking of going to USC. I didn't say I'm thinking of going to USC.
You didn't say.
I'm thinking of going to.
Oh, he didn't say I'm thinking of going to USC.
What do you think of going to USC?
Or what do you think about going to USC?
I want to work way back. I'm going, and I came and there's.
He said, I'm going to USC, and he changed his narrative in that moment. And what did your dad say? Oh.
He's happy, but whatever.
He said his dad, he told him his dad thought he was crazy.
Right.
Oh, he said, but when he found out how much USC cost, Knew he was crazy.
Yes. And there you go. So changing the narrative. I love that message. It sounds, I can't help it but think about spirituality. Do you have any spiritual beliefs or ideas about yourself in life, Sourena?
More, very, well, I really, I really, I really, with you, I really, with you, don't take it by me, difficult, operations, don't try to find me, become a better person,
Don't try to fight me becoming a better person.
not find me,
Oh, try to find meaning in becoming a better person.
not try to, don't try to find me, don't try to find me,
Don't try to find meaning
become
becoming a better person.
not, don't try to find me, just become,
Oh, don't try to find meaning, just become a better person.
yeah, uh, that was for me,
That works for you?
yeah. But I get so upset and nervous and my
He has kids and they're Armenian
amazing
and amazing.
and they can make life more joy.
They can bring life more joy.
Yeah.
Another initial question I have, I'll ask this open question about the purpose of the human experience. Ultimately, what do you think that is?
And she's making you think today.
To serve others
To serve others
and to serve ourselves.
and to serve ourselves.
I mean, you both, you need to understand both.
You need both and you need to understand both.
Yeah, and we lost that. We lost a lot of that. A lot of that. We lost a lot of that. We lost a lot of that. We lost a lot of that.
We lost a lot of
Serving.
serving.
Yeah.
This is a message that keeps coming back on a podcast every time I ask that question. It's helping others, ourselves and others, over and over again. It's amazing how we all feel the same way. And I wonder why. Why do we feel so strongly about helping others? Do you wonder too, Sourena? Oh, do you have an answer?
Because our own get our head.
It's in our own head.
Get
Gets out of our head.
Get us out of our own head.
Gets out of our head.
Yeah, and we focus on something else. We focus on something else.
Focus on something else
Rather than our own challenges.
rather than our own challenges.
Yeah.
I read that you don't use the words overcome and passion. So my question is, what is the difference between dreams, passion, mission, and purpose?
Okay.
Why don't you start with talking about why you hate the word?
Yeah, right. I like, yeah.
If you get the package, I'm gonna emotion.
So the definition of passion is an uncontrolled emotion.
And the word use have emotions. When second for success is emotion.
Oh, one thing that gets in the way of your success can be too much emotion.
Yeah.
So if you've got uncontrollable emotion,
Yeah.
you might have some problems.
Yes, true.
So that's why he hates passion. You might as well. Why do you hate overcome?
Overcome.
I actually said overcome to him once in a keynote presentation, and he basically let me have it. Never use that word again.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's how strong he feels about it.
Most challenges don't go away.
So most challenges don't go away.
They can evolve over time,
They change or they may evolve over time,
but they don't go away.
but they don't go away.
And I'm going change you move your past. You overcome these things, you just deal with it.
So with all of these things, you don't coming at you so fast, you don't overcome it, you just deal with it.
And you know why? We can overcome our environment that we can achieve goals, and then our time go away.
Yeah, because he said if you truly overcome something, an obstacle, then it truly goes away.
And then some reason that we can't achieve success because we are Chinese, and that's dangerous.
Yes, and so the good news is if you learn to deal with or if you deal with challenges, because there will always be those, the good news is you can still be successful because you're dealing with them. And Sourena would always use the tangible examples of, if someone has anxiety, there's a good chance you don't overcome it. It's something you'll always deal with, but you need to treat it as a challenge and figure out ways to deal with it. Or it could be alcoholism or drugs or stress. Or Sourena always liked, because I come from the health and fitness background, he told me one time on stage, he always likes to do this live and unprepared, but when he first said that overcome thing, I said, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. He goes, of course you do. You work in fitness.
Yeah.
If people just lost weight and it stayed off, if they overcame it, you'd be out of a job.
That is so true. Yeah.
Binary, yes, you can overcome stuff. Yes, you can overcome stuff.
If something is binary, binary, you can overcome it.
Because one time I was speaking with you, I need to overcome times. Vegas.
One time you were speaking in Vegas?
No, you were.
Oh, I was speaking in
And
Vegas.
you need to
Oh, yeah, I used the word overcome by accident.
Oh, you did.
But it was sales. It was sales.
Oh, when I was doing his big sales presentation.
It's binary.
Right, because that's a binary situation. Overcoming an objection happens in the moment, not something that we're dealing with as a long-term challenge.
Yeah.
It's so true. So we don't overcome life either. We just learn to dance with it.
And happiness is not it's always moving.
Happiness is not.
It's always moving.
Happiness is not sedentary. It's always moving.
Yeah. So it's the same thing as the idea of balance, isn't it? It's not a destination either, a static place. It's always moving. So in order to stay in balance, we need to be constantly moving. So isn't it interesting how paradoxical that is?
Mm-hmm.
It's always moving. Let me ask you an open question about the books. Big Dreams Take Small Sacrifices, and the other title is Love Your Life and It Will Love You Back. Talk to me for a moment about the main intention to write these books.
One of the messages with everything I do is remember that you foot in the foot.
So he said one of the messages between everything he writes is that if you want a better life,
Very input.
You got to
Very input. Very input.
you have to
Input.
put in
The effort.
put in the effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about positivity, do you think about gratitude? Because that's often something that I think about.
Yeah. I really do. I really do. But gratitude.
He thinks about it all the time. He's got thoughts about gratitude.
Okay. So, mother, different.
His left arm and his right arm are very different.
I can't do my some things.
With his left arm, he can do some things, like drive his chair.
Keyboard.
Like he can use his left hand on a keyboard.
I can drive my wheelchair.
Yes, he can take drives out in his wheelchair around the neighborhood.
I can't nothing.
And with his right hand, he can't do anything.
And it would be awesome. It would be awesome. Man, works.
It'd be awesome if his right hand worked.
Both hands works.
If both hands worked.
But what if my right hand, my left hand with the right hand?
But he said, what if his left hand were just like his right hand?
My left would be 10 times harder.
His life would be 10 times harder.
I would need 24-hour care.
He would need 24-hour care.
I could not go classroom without help. I could not go classroom without help.
Right, he couldn't go do anything without help.
Yeah, so I would be 10 times more limited.
10 times more limited.
Yeah. Although it's not very unbelievable about my left arm. Although it's not very unbelievable that my left hand is nothing my right hand.
So he's just very grateful that his left hand is not like his right hand. I remember one time we were speaking on stage, and during the Q&A, somebody asked, and they said, are you mad and angry that your right hand doesn't work, right arm doesn't work? And Sourena said, I'm just glad my left arm does.
Yeah, what a beautiful answer. Yeah. Oh my God.
Like, what if he could not speak at all? Sourena, tell her about the glass being half full, because she asked about positivity. Sourena has a very interesting take on this.
It's full. The glass is full. Half full and empty.
The glass is both half full and half empty.
Yeah, you have to understand your challenges.
You have to understand your challenges, which is the half empty part.
And you have to choose. See yourself. You have the blessing in your life to deal with your challenges.
But then you have the blessings in your life to deal with your challenges, which is the half full part.
Yeah. Both. You
need both.
What do you love most about being in a human body?
Again, I have so many experiences.
It's just all about being able to have those experiences. You know, the experience.
Being able to laugh.
Yeah, I agree.
Being able to friends.
Go out with friends. Raising his two sons.
And
all these are amazing experiences.
Yeah,
You want to always improve your experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when you sent me some information about Sourena, I was reading about you. There's a passage where you say that your children, they don't see anything different. There's nothing different about you. I mean, that made me cry though, because then it speaks to the heart in a sense of innocence, of being open to life, not seeing differences, but just being curious about what that is that's being presented. I mean, it's beautiful. Talk to me for a moment about that experience, Sourena.
Well, it's amazing. I'm the only person in the world that.
He said it's an amazing thing, and he's the only one in the world that they call dad. We have an awesome relationship.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see him grow up. I can't wait to see him grow up.
I can't wait to see him grow up.
What does it take to have this kind of thinking, of way of seeing life? Does it always take challenges, suffering, or we can get there without the pain part of it? Is that possible?
All throughout time, there's been challenges.
You get time and use what you learn to deal with your challenges.
So you'll always have challenges, but once you learn to deal with those challenges,
then you can find other stuff.
Then you can find other stuff.
Apply it to other stuff.
Apply it. The things you use to deal with those challenges, apply it to other stuff.
It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing?
Yeah. You try and succeed is the same thing.
Yeah. When you try and you succeed, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think, to Sorena's point, he had one time said, we all have a wheelchair. And he didn't mean that all of us have wheelchairs. But we all have the things that hold us back, that limit us, that try to keep us from accomplishing, what we're trying to accomplish. And as Serena said, oftentimes there are challenges that will always be there. But if you have that right mindset and the positivity and, that you're able to deal with those and learn from those dealings to apply to new challenges that pop up. And that's how you stay on track for that amazing life and success.
Yeah, but if you think that times that they will study, if you think that will study, they will.
Oh, if you think challenges will stop you, they will.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't go to effort because you want to stay online, then you won't go.
If you want to go to the airport but you don't want to stand in line, then you just don't go.
It seems like we have a choice, right, Sourena and Chris? It's sometimes I don't believe we have a choice. It feels like life, it's kind of speaking to us and giving us the option to be open or not open to whatever is presented.
Yeah, but it's not opposite.
Opposite?
Opposite.
Opinions.
Opposite.
Oh, options.
Opposite.
Options?
The truth is not 100%.
Oh, it's not 100%?
Yeah.
And Sourena will tell you too that, and that's something he shared with me many times, is there's two aspects to reality. There's reality, like what has happened, and then the flip side is your reaction to it, one of which you can control. You can't always control reality, but you can always control the way you react to it.
I usually don't use the word control, maybe because it has that connotation of manipulation and forcing things to happen. So what word would you use instead of control, Chris? What would you say, Sourena? What is another replacement for control in this case?
So there's reality, and then there's your reaction to the reality.
Manage.
Choose.
Yeah. Or manage.
Or choose or manage.
Yeah,
Manage
manage.
reaction, or you can choose your reaction.
Let's talk for a moment about the 5 keys to an amazing mindset.
Okay.
I have them in front of me, Sourena. Would you like me to kind of talk to you about one at a time? Just say them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so the first one, rewrite your narrative. This is one that we have been talking about, actually. But
You have to rewrite the story that you tell yourself.
And it could be low, it could be big, it could be low, it could be big, it could be small, it could be large.
It could be love, it could be
Small.
it could be large, it could be small.
Yeah, whatever sweet. Yes. Because you gotta understand what it takes for you to get to the next level.
You got to understand what it takes for you to get to the next level.
And so that's really important.
So the story you tell yourself is really important.
Yeah.
the more I hear that, the more I think to myself, oh my God, what stories am I telling myself every day? Isn't it? Like makes us think, really kind of, it motivates us to go deeper. That's what it is. And I love the idea that we can always go deeper into the essence of life.
Yes, and I think, as human beings, just physiologically and through our, evolving, I think our instinct is to tell a bad narrative.
Yeah, true.
The phone rings and it happens to be a little later than normal. The instinct is, this has got to be a bad phone call. Something's wrong. Why can't we rewrite that narrative to have the assumption that it's good? Because if it's bad, it's bad. But why not just assume it's good? Why not assume the right things?
Well, we still caveman brains.
Yeah. Well, hey, don't be offensive to women. He's like, we have caveman brains.
Oh, yeah, that is true. That's a good point, Sourena.
We be eating with good ability. Eating my cinnamon or being
Right.
lunch.
Right. So when something goes wrong, our brain automatically reacts with a fight or flight and the stress response, and that doesn't generally lead to good things. But when we manage that,
Thank you.
That's a better reaction.
Yes, a billion times to that management, that kind of management. So the second step is improve your habits.
Well, the habits, the quality of your life are the quality of your habits.
The quality of your habits determine the quality of your life.
And if you don't get habits, it's time to have a good life.
If you don't have good habits, it's challenging to have a good life.
So true. So true. And it sounds very simple, doesn't it? Because it takes common sense too. I mean, it feels to me. It's like, why not eat vegetables instead of white bread, lots of bread? It seems like it's common sense, but for some reason, it's not that simple. So I'd like to know, how do we make habits, bad ones, turn them into good ones, Sourena?
The problem we're in a habit loop.
Oh, he said the problem is we're often in a habit loop.
It's very psychological. It's very psychological.
Psychological.
Yep, when you're forming, what do you think about?
When your phone rings,
What do you think about?
what do you think about?
Is it fixed? Okay, is everyone okay?
Yeah, is it a text? Is everyone okay?
Yeah.
One thing too on the habit side and breaking habits is, first of all, you have to have whether it's creating a good one or creating a bad one, you have to have a fundamental reason why, right? A really meaningful reason why this needs to stop or why this needs to start, and then referring back to that when you're in the moment. And then there's a lot of stuff that goes into habitual change. People rely on discipline and willpower, but those are diminishing resources. We're tired and stressed. So coming up with strategic things, practical things like you said with the white bread versus vegetables, don't have white bread in the house. Take a tactical approach to change and not just relying on the discipline not to do it. And then I will tell you that I did a lot of work in executive wellness and change, and mindfulness was really powerful to change. So as an example, there was a study where there were two groups that were quitting smoking. One group had, I think, medication and these different, whether it was an app or other ways to go about it. And the other group was simply told to be mindful. And all they had to do was every time they smoked, write on a little notepad what it felt like. So you just had to be aware of what you were doing. And the group that was aware and just wrote down, wow, it burns, it tastes bad, it made me cough, that group had the most success quitting and sustaining that. I think with habit change, it's, fundamental reason why, come up with strategic things to help with that, and then really just be mindful in the moment. Remind yourself, why am I doing this? Just be aware of your behaviors. Environmental design, yeah.
It's very helpful.
It's very helpful.
So if you don't want to be helpful, if you don't want to be on your phone, help is on the password.
Yeah, if you don't want to be on the phone.
Help is on the password. Help is on the password.
Just don't have it with you.
Password.
On silent?
Password. A harder password.
A harder pathway to access it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have,
Well, it's like the waking up early. Don't keep your alarm clock next to the bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
That way you gotta get up and move across the room.
Yeah.
Snooze.
Yeah.
If you don't want to watch TV, take the battery out of the remote.
So if you don't want to watch TV, take the battery out of the remote.
Yeah.
So the step number 3, it says how you deal with challenges. So the way we dance that dance.
I have no experience with that. I will try.
He said, I got no experience with challenge, but he'll try to answer this.
Yes, right. We believe you, Sourena.
You got to deal with challenges.
You got to deal with challenges.
And by the way,
Positive.
wait.
Oh, in a positive way.
Yeah. And my theory, you don't do a challenge head. You don't do a challenge head on.
You don't deal with challenges head on.
You weave into the
You weave in and out.
process. You weave into process.
Mm-hmm.
You weave into process. You weave them into process.
Oh, you weave them into your processes.
Yeah. Like, you're having to be on the process. Like, personally needed.
Yep. So in his processes, there are certain things, even now with helping translate, that weaves into his process. Yeah, it's my challenge. So here's how my new process is going to be. I'm going to use somebody like Chris to help get my message out there.
So thinking too much about what we have to do to deal with the challenge sometimes doesn't help. Oh, it really doesn't, right, Sourena? It's almost taking a break even.
Maybe you don't dwell on the challenges.
Don't dwell on your challenges.
Don't think they're going to go away.
Don't think they're going to go away.
Except that you have to work a little harder.
Except that you have to work a little harder. Mm-hmm.
And that's
it.
Yeah.
I love when you say that. Don't think they will go away. So because it's easy to do that, isn't it? Just to push it away and try to escape our challenges. That's another powerful message. Step 4, how you interact with people.
I can't even go to our house without someone else.
He said he can't even get out of his house without the help of someone else.
have been everything for me.
People and relationships have been everything for him.
Yeah, you gotta know how to deal with you. No, know their challenges, know their hope and dreams.
Know people's challenges, and they know yours, and know their hopes and dreams, and vice versa.
Create win-win relationships.
Create.
Win-win.
Oh, always look to create win-win relationships.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman I worked with in my executive wellness days named Dr. Robert Maurer, and he wrote a book called Mastering Fear. And in his book, he talked about, this plays right into challenges, but fear is a combination of three things. One, you don't feel like you're good enough for something. Two, it's out of your control. Or three, there's a big unknown. And he said, if you analyze things that challenge you and that stress you out and give you anxiety, it's one, two, or all of those things combined. And he said, unfortunately, the way most humans react to that situation is denial, anger, alcohol, drugs. And he said the one solution for that situation is to reach for support. So to play into Sourena's, or to reinforce what Sourena's saying about building a network of people with win-win relationships that support you and you support them is key. And far too often we wear it as a badge of honor. No, I can get through this myself. I can handle this myself. Well, that's the opposite of what you should do. You reach out to people that you trust and care about for support. And that's one of the keys to that. A lot of successful people have a lot of people around them.
Yeah. It's a mindset in itself, right, Sourena and Chris? The win-win situation that we work together. Mm-hmm. It seems to me like being open and not being afraid to be vulnerable is a huge factor, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, real strength is not saying, no, nothing bothers me. Real strength is saying, this troubles me and I need your support. I need your help. That's strength.
The last step is be clear on what you want and how you get there.
Clarity is absolutely key for anything you want to accomplish in your life.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Yeah, you got to be clear about why you want to do it.
What you want to do? What you want to do?
What you want to do.
How you going to do it?
How you're going to do it.
Help you.
And who's going to help you?
Everything in between. Everything in between.
And everything in between.
Yeah. The more clarity you have in your life, the easier it will be.
Yeah, and the more you do that, the more clarity you have in your life, the easier it will be.
And then we have attacks on the every day.
We have our attacks
on clarity.
We have attacks on clarity every day.
Yeah. You wake up and then you get text.
You wake up and you get a text.
Yeah. You get to work and there's a problem.
And you get to work and now there's a problem.
So you gotta find clarity. You always do find clarity.
You always got to try to find clarity.
Yeah.
When I think about clarity, I think about what matters the most, what's the most important thing. Like I usually think about the end. Like if I knew I would die soon, what would I do today? How would I live the rest of my days, of my life?
Well, you gotta make what you want, what in life.
You got to combine what you want and what is possible in life.
Yeah. You can't decide what you want.
You can't decide what you want
by yourself.
Yes.
What's possible. Yeah.
And figure out what's possible.
If if we speak, we can go up there and speak what we want.
If you
Get ready to speak. Get ready to speak.
get ready to speak,
Yeah, I can speak on what I want.
you can't speak on what you want.
I can speak on what you need, what you need.
Oh, so Sourena said anytime he wants to speak, he's not going to speak about what he wants. He's going to speak about what the audience needs.
Yeah.
Right.
If I read a book, I can't understand what I want. I can't read about what you need.
Same thing with writing, he said. If he writes a book, it's not about what he wants to write, it's about what he knows people need to read.
Every time you know, you get shows at least 1%.
And everything you do, every goal you have should serve at least one other person.
What is important for us needs to be important for others too. What matters to us, not that should, but what a wonderful way. That's interesting because the things that I have always wanted in life, it's always connected to the greater good. And I wonder if that's a coincidence. I don't think it is, right? When we come from the heart, it seems like that's the outcome, almost like organically. It just happens. You do something for you, and then it helps others automatically. It feels that way. So we're almost at the end. I do have a few more questions for you. And the more I listened to both of you and Sourena, what is not to love about everything that you share and how you share? You working with him, with Sourena, Chris, is just the most beautiful thing. Yeah, it's just incredibly beautiful. Thank you.
No, thank you. And it's my pleasure. Like I said, that moment we met at the gym where I looked at him like he was crazy.
Yes.
But, it's a pleasure to be able to help Sourena, but also to be a part of watching him serve the way he does and help people be a part of that it's an amazing experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, and it comes across that way. It's just so powerful and empowering. You might have an idea, but I don't know, it's overwhelming sometimes even to just kind of witness this beautiful experience.
Yeah.
My final questions. Let me ask you this one. What is another word for life?
Experiences. I really was going to say the Los Angeles Lakers.
He didn't.
Experience was better.
Yeah. Good. And my last question is, what 3 experiences you wish everyone to have before they lose the body, before they die?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Oh, that's a good one. I agree. I agree.
Helping other people.
And then when the guys start laughing.
And
And then when the guys start laughing.
and a night where you just can't stop laughing.
Yes. Oh my God. You said that early, laughter. Yeah, there's something about laughter. I agree, Sourena, 1,000,000,000 times with everything you say, the way you say, your expression in this reality and everything else in between. Thank you so much again for being you. And before we say goodbye, where can we find more information about you, your books, products, services, future events?
Sorenav.com.
Yeah, I will have the link on your podcast profile too. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Sourena Visegi and his work, please visit Sorenav.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.